Well, the Vikings-Colts game might have got just a little bit harder for the Minnesota Vikings to pull out a victory. Now, there's no excuse though. Okay, I've been saying this all week so far. I know it's only been 2 days into the week, but my week started on Thursday. After we lost that game against the Los Angeles Rams, I started to move on, man. I had 1 day to soak in it, and then I had to move on. We got to start thinking about the Colts. Now, what excited me about the Colts is I watched the game this weekend that they had against the Texans. It was a battle, but I saw Anthony Richardson, and I'm like, and everybody knows, man, RAP was rich gang, bruh. Like, I do believe still that if he was a Minnesota Viking, it would have been a different outcome. But we're not going to beat that to death. I mean, it's obviously not a thing, so let's not waste any time on that. But the Colts came out today, and they announced that Joe Flacco will be the starting quarterback on Sunday Night Football against us, right? And, it kind of hurt me a little bit because I seen a vision. If Anthony Richardson was out there, he's the type of quarterback where Brian Flores' defensive scheme will flourish. We would have had us a nice little night. We would have had us a night of turnovers. Van Ginkel might have got another pick six. Cam Bynum out there. The cornerbacks would have bounced back, get their PFF grades up a little bit. But now I think it got a little tougher, man. Joe Flacco, is he the best quarterback in the world? No, but I think he's seasoned enough, man. He's a veteran where he understands where to put the ball, how quick he needs to let the ball go, depending on how we're scheming against the offense. I just think he has that knowledge, and knowledge is power, even in the NFL. And I think it's going to be a little bit of an issue. Now, this doesn't mean that I think the Vikings are going to lose the game. I think we're going to win this game. And I know I've been saying that every week. I mean, it's the Vikings fan in me, but in reality, I just believe that we are a better team than the Colts, and there's no surprises. Like with the Rams, Puka Nacua playing and Cooper Kupp together, that was a little bit of a surprise that Puka Nacua was going to be 110% all of a sudden. But the Colts, you really don't have any surprises. It is what it is. Like what you've been seeing from the Colts is what you're going to get, all right? Whether it's Joe Flacco or it's Anthony Richardson playing quarterback, right? And one thing we got to focus on before we get into these quarterback numbers and what might be the game changer in this type of game that we're going to see on Sunday night, the running game from the Indianapolis Colts with Jonathan Taylor, we just need to go ahead and nip that in the bud real early, okay? Because they do have a running game. And now I have confidence in our defense on being able to stop the run somewhat. Like, I mean, we're not like the greatest run stoppers in the NFL. Our numbers have dropped since the past 2 weeks of us taking these L's, but I think that I'm confident enough as a Vikings fan to believe that we can slow Jonathan Taylor down, and we're not going to lose because Jonathan Taylor just torched us all night. I don't think that's going to be the case. If we're going to lose a football game like against the Indianapolis Colts, it's going to be because head coaching, offensive coordinator, Joe Flacco, Josh Downs, and Michael Pittman are just going to be hitting on all cylinders, and they just can't miss out there. And there's evidence and there's games where Joe Flacco can get in his zone, bro. Like as old as he is, as long as he's been in the NFL, you would think that it's pretty much washed. It reminds me of the 33-0 comeback. We had Matt Ryan, similar situation, going against a quarterback in Matt Ryan, a seasoned veteran, and he was just out there, dot here, dot there, dot. Now it was all in the first half, but still, yeah, we had to fight an uphill battle. We came out, one of the best games I've watched. I mean, it was exciting. Talk about a roller coaster game. Shit, that was probably one of the main ones since my Vikings fandom. You feel me? But Anthony Richardson, man, this is why I felt like Anthony Richardson would have been better. All right, so we'll just read this. Shout out TPP, man, my boy Justin over there. He said, a look at Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson's 2024 stats, 6 games so far this season. If the Vikings defense doesn't feast this game, it's extremely concerning. Now, this was TPP posting this, expecting that Anthony Richardson was going to be the starter. I know we talked about it on Purple Paula. SK was like, nah, I believe they're going to give Anthony Richardson one more go. I was like, nah, I don't see it, and we'll talk about it after this, but he had a 44.4 completion percentage, 7.2 yards per play on average. He had 159 yards a game, 4 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions with a 57.2 QBR. But 40 rushing yards per game with 1 rushing touchdown, but 5 fumbles, man. He had a 48.7 overall PFF grade and a 49.5 passing PFF grade. Now, this is the thing. When you look at that, Brian Flores rubbing his hands, man. He's rubbing his hands, bruh. Like, you can't asked to play a worse quarterback in the NFL. Like, you look at that and you say, hey, you get a little bit of tiny pressure on this guy, man, this guy is going to forfeit. Now, speaking of forfeit, the reason they benched him, I watched the game, man, like, I agree 100% with the coaching staff when it comes to the Indianapolis coach. You guys are out there battling. That game really came down to the wire. I mean, it was neck to neck throughout the whole game. And for you to make a play, and the play wasn't even crazy. Like, he did a little run around for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and then he took off and took a normal hit. I thought he got injured, to be real, because he did get hit on the lower body of the leg, and the leg looked like it stretched out a little bit. But I was like, okay, maybe he's injured. But he admitted to media he was just tired. Bro, you can't do that, man. You know, and I'm glad the Vikings don't have Anthony Richardson now that we're seeing this, you know, now that hindsight's 2020. But, you know, that's a shame, man. And you know what? I think the Colts made the right decision as far as for their organization. Now, as a Vikings fan, I think, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it's going to make our game a little tougher, but that's all right, man. We need a challenge, man. There's no excuse, man. The Vikings need to win this football game. Now, when you compare that, right, you look at Anthony Richardson's numbers and they're horrible. That's who we wish we would have been able to play. But then you look at this, and this came out 4 hours ago with my boy, shout out TPP, man. With Anthony Richardson bench, this is a massive upgrade for the Colts, who have thrived under Joe Flacco this season compared to Richardson. Flacco in 2024, 65.7 completion percent, almost 21 points better than complete. That is crazy, bruh. It's nasty. He only has 6.6 yards, but that's because he understands when to get the ball out. He knows he has to get the ball out at times. So that explains that number. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, 73.7 QBR, 71.2 overall PFF grade, 70 passing PFF grade. That's a big upgrade, bro. That's like them going from, you know, Nathan Peterman to like you know, I ain't gonna say Tom Brady, but at least going to a B-list type of quarterback. When you talk about that, that is what you call a huge upgrade for a football team going into a game against a team as in the Minnesota Vikings that dropped 2 in a row. This game has to bounce back, man. This has to be, I'm calling this a must win. All right, Friday, we're gonna be live. The thumbnail, the title, it's gonna be must win, bro. We're going in full strength. There's no excuses. I don't want to hear about Joe Flacco starting and where that gives us an excuse to just drop this game, and there should be a reason because we can't stop the run game. I don't care, man. Josh Downs, Pittman, I don't care. The Vikings need to go out and get this victory. But hey, it is what it is, man. Unfortunately, we got to see old Joey boy. Let me know how you feel down in the comments. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Holla at your boy.
Yeah, smooth summer, who running? I hear them talking, but they ain't gonna do nothing. Celebration, I might have a toast with you. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great, I'm terrific. We ain't taking no losses, we winning. Undefeated, check the percentage.